Today we're going to make a coat hook out of a branch of wood. Little branches of wood can be found, well, anywhere really. Quite often on the sides of roads, in forests, branches fall off all the time. We don't want to go for anything too big. Something like this is fine. All the twiggy bits have been cut off, and this is essentially how I harvest the branches, leaving everything over length. And this is the bit that will hold the coat. This is the bit here that goes against the wall. This one here is particularly interesting because I've got two branches coming out, so it's a double coat hook. We've got an interesting little double coat hook here as well. So what I'll do, I think we'll just cut it off here and make this one into a coat hook. So we need to hold it into a vise or on the edge of a table. Because this is quite a long piece of wood, we can just hold it on the edge of the table, hold the piece of wood, put our thumb against a saw and hover the saw over the branch and push very lightly forward. I'm not putting any downward pressure here at all. Now I've made the cut, I can use a little bit more downward pressure, and now the cut is deep into the wood, I can move my hand along. Obviously, if there are two of you working here, one of you would be holding the branch firmly down onto the table. And I'll just go really slow at the end and just come off.
You're nowhere near.
You could do, yeah. Cut that bit off.
It's going to be vertical on the wall like this, and so we're going to have to cut a line, or cut this piece of wood at the back here off and a piece of wood off here. We're going to saw it and we're going to use rasps to try and get this as flat as possible so it'll sit against the wall. But we're going to use our workbench to see how well it sits. So if I lay a block of wood, a flat, straight, parallel block of wood against this coat hook, I can then run a pencil flat along the wood to draw a line. And then again at this end, make sure that you don't tip the pencil, just have it flat on the piece of wood and draw the line. These are guidelines. It's not essential that you have 100% accuracy. Join the lines up across the top. Oh, there we go. Cross like that. This all helps when we're cutting the piece of wood. Okay, so let's place this in the vise. So I think I'm going to have to remove this because it's going to interfere with the saw. I'll just make a little cut there, and I'll make a little cut at the end here. And line them up, and away we go. I'm not going to cut through the whole length of the wood like this because it's going to take too long. I just wanted to do a few cuts with the whole length of the saw to make sure that this saw mark here is in line with this one. And now I've gone a little bit deeper, I'll just saw the top end off. And you can see here I'm going really slowly, I'm not putting any pressure on, and off it comes. And let's do this bit here. I'm making sure that the saw is flat along this side here, that I'm not bending out like this, because this flat surface I've just cut is a guide for this cut down the bottom. And so get down and have a good look. Okay, I need to take a lot of wood off just up here. So it's up that side and up there and probably just here. Okay, what's really useful is to use some decorators, well it's known as decorators roll abrasive. You can buy it in most hardware stores. Comes on long rolls and they sell it by the metre. Use a pencil and just cross hatch the wood. Try and do quite close together lines. And rub it on the abrasive. Okay, this is a lot clearer. We're abrading there. We could just be abrading here and here, and you can definitely see where we're abrading here. So we need to put this back in the vise. A rasp is a coarse file, and if you're serious about doing a lot of woodwork, these Shinto rasps made out of essentially sort of bandsaw blades are probably some of the best you can buy. So use two hands, and I'm using my whole body. I'm swaying on my hips and my ankles and my knees to move, and the rest of my body is fully locked and not moving. So I'm also wanting to keep this as flat as possible. Try this. Oh, immediately it feels a little bit more stable. Right, the top bit is a bit better. We're doing a little bit more on the bottom. And this will really damage the material of your jacket, your coat or your sweater or whatever you put on it. It's like a stiletto heel, so we want it quite short and we want it rounded, and this long one here we want to cut down, and I cut off square to the branch. I don't cut off at any funny angles or anything. I always do it square. See these round little bits? Don't drop them on the floor. You drop them on the floor, you stand on them and whoop, you go over. Again, just use the rasp and go round at 45 degrees. This is a bit that the children will spend a lot of time on, is rounding these over, and you want them nice and round. And there we go, this is more or less round. We can use these little hand sanders to finish off. If you don't have a rasp, we could use the coarse one to do this. It'll take a little bit longer, but because there's some give in the sandpaper here, it's naturally shaping round and it's going to make a curve anyway. And if you don't have one of these hand sanders, we can just use a strip of abrasive and finish off, or do the whole lot like this. Again, start off with something like a 60 grit or 80 grit and finish off with a 120 or a 150 grit. Okay. Again, we've got a rough sticky bit there. We'll need to cut that off with the saw. Right, this bottom bit we can sand and round off in any way we like. The really important hole is the hole at the top. And that's where it really hangs from. If we just do a hole in the bottom and we put a lot of weight here, leverage can pull it away from the wall. So again, take any drill bit, whether it's your little hat palm drills, or whether it's a cordless drill, and drill a hole through. Actually, the hole needs to be a little bit bigger than the size of the screw that you're going to use to put into the wall. Okay, that's gone all the way through. So there we go, one coat hook that can be attached by 2 screws into any wall.